one shot, one opportunity to seize everything you ever wanted in one moment.
All right, welcome to the show, fellas. What are you doing, W. Dunn? You're like beating and drumming and farting and burping. What's going on over there?
I didn't know my mic was on, or I wouldn't have let a couple of it.
Yeah, you just kind of. All right, well, here we go. We're going to get this thing started, and I've just got one question to ask as we begin to get ready for the playoffs and the off season that's going to be beginning here soon. So I got one question to ask you to kick the show off. Is anyone trading a first-round draft pick? Because the Bears are driving all of us insane. If you are trading a first-round draft pick, please go see him. Me first, but then go see him if that doesn't work out, because he's driving the rest of us insane. So, how's it going? How's your holiday?
Man, everything was awesome. The little one had an amazing day and an amazing week. So that means my week and day were amazing. How about you?
It was good. It's we didn't do a whole lot of anything, which is a good thing. I went and enjoyed the city a little bit, seen some cool lights at City Park, and just relaxed a whole lot. So getting ready for a fun New Year's in the city with the Sugar Bowl here. There's going to be a lot of people here, and a lot of people are saying that this is going to be one of the top places to be for New Year's. So we're excited. I got a good friend coming down and going to go enjoy some New Year's in the city.
Awesome. Sounds good, man. Give me 1 second. I'll be right back. My lady's calling for me. Give me 1 minute.
All right. Well, W Dunn runs out real quick to go and do this. We're going to go ahead and get ready for the rest of the show. So I think we've got a really good show lined up for you. Not a whole lot of people. We're trying something new today and see if a early afternoon show would work. Figure we got a bunch of good football games on, and that might work for everybody. But it's just me and my co-host W here, and but we're going to make the best of it. I think we got a really great show. Couldn't get a hot seat ready for you guys. Couldn't find anybody that wants to hop on and do a hot seat. So we're going to just take a quick look at Week 16. Week 17 is not a whole lot to talk about, but we can take a quick look at a few pretty important games. Then we'll take a quick look at the playoff picture and matchups. There's only one or two teams that kind of hang in the balance. Then we'll do a fake it or take it playoff predictions, a six-pack of playoff questions, and then 5 good minutes about the nice PlayStation attack that we had this week. So I think I got my co-host back. W, you there? He has not made it back yet. I thought I heard him back. So let's hop over here, and we're going to jump right in and start looking at Week 16. As we take a look back, what do we have going on here? Here we go. This is Week 16. So we had some pretty good games this week. Some were possibly simulated. I'm not 100% sure.
All right, I'm back.
All right, we got him back. So the baby's okay? Everything's good?
Yeah, she wanted some fruit snacks. So, the world stops moving until she gets them.
Absolutely. That and something to drink. You have to stop everything. So we're going to just take a quick look at Week 16 and spend a minute on each game, and then we'll start looking at some playoff games. So Week 16, first game on the docket was the Raiders losing to the Steelers. The Steelers have played some really good football lately and have really come through with some impressive wins, and this is going to be another one as they force Derek Carr into 3 interceptions. They hold Darren McFadden under 60 yards. So this was a big win for the Steelers.
Yeah, no doubt about it. The Steelers needed this one. The AFC North rather is a pretty tight division, and it was a kind of a shocker, because the AFC West is how competitive it is. You have 3 teams with 11 or 12 wins, and it was a big loss for Dunn here. Big win by the Steelers.
Yeah, I didn't expect this one to happen at all. Looks like Big Ben played a decent game. Only 12 completions, but he does get a touchdown to go with that 1 interception. And Dre Archer has just carried the ball a ton for that team. And they play really good defense. They blitz you a lot, and they force you into some bad plays. And that looks like what happened to Derek Carr. Next game up is going to be the Redskins and the Panthers. I got to take a look at that because of our buddy Clavin, which, by the way, has actually been around for the last couple of days. It's been nice. He was actually asking, who took over his team. I don't think that he knew that we didn't field the team at all. So I don't know if he's thinking about maybe possibly coming back. I haven't heard anything, but it was good to see him around and get to talk to him a little bit.
Absolutely.
Your next game up is going to be the Browns dropping to the 49ers, and the 49ers, about midway through the season, looked like they were headed for the exits. They just were not playing very well, and yet he somehow has turned this around here and very quietly, like the Texans, put together an extremely nice season. Again, this one just goes back to defense. They forced Johnny Manziel to 2 interceptions. They are winning despite Colin Kaepernick. I don't know what the deal is there, but Gaddy just cannot figure out how to win with Colin, and he's swearing that he's going to trade him away. So this falls on the defense, and the 49ers play great defense. Navarro Bowman with 10 sacks. They pick off Johnny twice, even have a forced fumble in there.
Yeah, I think that might be why the Bears are trying to acquire another first-round pick here. The word is they're trying to bring Kaepernick to the NFC North, which is kind of welcome since Teddy Bridgewater happens to be 1-0 against Colin Kaepernick in OMFL 15.
Yeah, I wouldn't be too worried about Colin Kaepernick. I'd be more worried about that Bears defense that's pretty decent over there. Next game up is the 0-15 Dolphins. I'm very sad that my prediction's probably going to come true here. They're not going to win a game. If they do, it'll be probably a simulated game. Our buddy Mustang has canned it in. I don't really know what you can say about this game. I don't even know if it was really played, but the Bills with a huge win, 41-0 over the Dolphins at home.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was played. I don't see a sim 41-0 loss, Miami versus Buffalo, and it's kind of sad, Staying. Hopefully he'll dedicate a little more time going to the next few seasons. I don't want to. He's been so successful in the past, man. It's tough to see him struggle like this.
He is. I mean, he's a past champion. He's got several AFC championships underneath his belt. I mean, the guy can play. He just has not been around because of his job. He even said he was going to be on the show today, but I don't think he's around. So our next game up is the Jaguars at 2-13. One of the better 2-13 teams I've ever seen. That team plays some really good defense, but they don't today. They fall to the Patriots 34-17. And KO with a huge win because that makes this game even bigger for Week 17. They were talking in chat a while ago. They're not sure when this game is going to be played, but it's supposed to be played tonight sometime. And it depends on the playoffs for the Patriots because right now they're in because of the Broncos. We'll talk about them in a minute. But this was a huge win for them. They needed it. I mean, it's hard to say a 2-win team is a huge win, but when you need it and the team that plays really good defense by the Jags, this could have been a sleeper game. They catch you, sleeping, and the Jags steal one from you. But Shane Vereen makes it happen. I will never understand how he gets Larry Fitzgerald to play like this. 7 receptions for 111 yards. And the guy's got like 80 speed, and I couldn't get him open to save my life. But Patriots get a nice win at home.
No, you're right, man. Norman and his Jaguars defense, they're a tough out for anybody. If you have an off day against the Jags, it's a good chance you're going to lose that game. Hopefully Norm will be able to get his offense right in the offseason, and he'll be a serious contender in the AFC South. But that is a good win by Coach KO. I mean, a much-needed win also.
Absolutely. And then the next game up is the 13-2 Texans at home get a nice win over the 6-9 Colts. The Colts started off really hot this year, have really tailed off since then, and it's been all because Andrew Luck has just turned the ball over way too much, and today was no different. 3 interceptions for Andrew Luck. Texans, a lot like the 49ers, both teams have quietly had very impressive records, but both teams are very much so winning despite their quarterback. Trent Richardson, just another day at the office, 25 carries for 108 yards, and the Texans get a really nice win at home against the Colts.
You're right. Houston's kind of worrying me a little bit. Yeah, they're finding a way to win every single game. I think they're 13-2 right now, but when it comes to playoff time, can you rely on Tom Savage and can you rely on Trent Richardson's 3.5 yards per carry averaging against playoff games, 2 or 3 back to back, and then the Super Bowl. It's going to be interesting to see if Houston can keep finding ways to win when they're playing top team after top team once the playoffs hit.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. I think that it's going to be a struggle, and he's going to have to get it figured out. He is the number one seed. Can't take that from him. He is the champion. But like exactly what you said, he's going to have to figure that out for the playoffs. Next game up is the 6-10 Bears falling to the 12-4 Chiefs, 19-7. I think that this game was actually live for a little bit. I didn't get to watch very much of it. It was kind of a dogfight early on, and this is another team that when their quarterback plays well, they seem to string together points, but their quarterback in Tyler Bray usually does not play well. Today he has a decent day. Jay Cutler struggles with 3 interceptions, and the Chiefs start to get warmed up for the playoff run that they're trying to make here and get a nice win at home, 19-7.
Yeah, I mean, just look. I mean, if anyone sees a quarterback go 9 for 25, 0 touchdowns and 3 interceptions, it's pretty much a 0% chance you're going to win that game. And looks like Charles did his thing again today. And the Chiefs are another team that just keeps finding a way to win. It's scrappy every week, but they play damn good defense and they can run the ball, and that's how you win football games.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see. The Bears have played so much better in the second half of the season. I don't know if maybe they're candidate in for that high draft pick because they've gotten away from Adrian Peterson again, which was their problem early on. And when they're winning, it's when Adrian Peterson's getting the ball a whole bunch. Next game up is the Chargers at 6-9, falling to the Jets 26-14. The Jets are 11-3-1 and have a really good season going here. It'll be fun to watch them in the playoffs and see just what happens here. But this story was about Peyton Manning going back to turning the ball over. Danny Woodhead is your starting running back that's probably going to make for a pretty bad season. Whereas Chris Ivey, he carried the ball 36 times for 160 yards. God, I hope that changes this offseason. That's ridiculous, but hey, it's what works this year, and it's the winning formula. And the Jets play winning football because they play really good defense and will rush the ball 1 billion times a game. So that's a good win for the Jets.
You're right. I had to do a double take on the front page of the OMFL on the Daddy League site when I saw Chris Ivey at 36 attempts. I was like, "Oh my Lord, Nate's gonna get a Woody over that one." I said.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. I guess the only reason I feel like it was so ridiculous is because I had to face a couple of teams there that just did that. They just literally would blitz you every third down, every first down, zone you on second down, and then just give the ball to the running back 39 times a game. And even if you stop most of them, they're going to break some long ones on you, and they're just going to eat the clock, and just super annoying to face against. So the next game up is our good friend Callie Buck, who was on the hot seat last week, 10-6. He gets a win by 7 against the surging Cowboys. The Cowboys, I was looking at their team. We were talking some trade talks. The Cowboys are one of those teams that kind of make me chuckle. The Bears kind of fall into that group, and a couple other owners too who, desperately are trying to move their aging players or whatever. And but they want first round draft picks because they feel like they're the best ever, which is just funny to me. It's like if they're so good, why would you try to trade them? But anyway, I was looking at this Cowboys team is really good. They have very good linebackers. They have a young quarterback who's got some nice numbers. You got Murray back there. You got Dez. It'd be fun to see if he really does blow this team up or not. But either way, I'm kind of chasing rabbits now. The Buccaneers get a very much needed win on the road to stay in the playoff hunt.
Oh yeah, and Glennon didn't have a bad game. He had nice amount of yards, and Doug Martin didn't have a bad game. And it doesn't look like it looks like Tampa Bay only had 1 turnover. And I think this year, based on that, they're just a better team than Dallas overall, and it showed. That they found a way to win by a touchdown in a game they needed to win. Yeah,
I miss being in the NFC South. Those Cali games were agitating to play because he plays such good defense, especially in rushing the ball. But those were always fun games. Next up is the Rams with a huge win over the Ravens. The Ravens have struggled the second half. They've kind of let this division slip through their fingers, and the Rams found out tonight that they actually have to play their Week 17 game because their week 1 playoff bye is hanging in the balance. But they take care of business on the road. And Ryan Mallett with another great game. I mean, the guy went 18 for 20 with 2 touchdowns. Sankey gets a lot of rushing yards, 19 for 101. They're actually supposed to be getting their other running back in the second week of the playoffs, which is another reason why that first week bye would be so important for the Rams. They take care of business. They take care of the Ravens, and they get a good win.
Yeah, agreed. St. Louis is looking like a real threat to go back to the Super Bowl right now, especially once they get Zach Stacy back. It's going to make them even more dangerous. They're winning without him. So the Rams are the Rams, and people keep saying they're the regular season champ, but they did make the Super Bowl last year, so I wouldn't rule them out yet.
Yeah, it's something we could talk about in our 6-pack of questions. It'll be fun to get your thoughts on the Rams. Next one's up is the 11-4 Saints with a huge victory against the 2-12 Falcons. You never know what Falcons team's going to show up, but it looks like they've pretty much canned it in. I think that they actually maybe have a new owner over there, but the Saints with a 31-10 victory. And this team pretty much rides on the back of Drew Brees and Darren Sproles, and this game was all about that as Kenny Stills has a huge day. Looking at these stats, this game probably was not played now that I see that. But either way, the Saints needed that win as they stay atop the NFC.
Yeah, it looks like I was going to say, based on I just don't think that many plays could have been ran if there was a played game. So
yeah, and I don't see Saintly Dave doing 51 passes. I just don't see that happening. So there you have it. The 10-5 Giants with a 3-point victory against the 7-8 Eagles. The Eagles are an interesting team. They seem to have talent. They started out red hot, then couldn't figure out their quarterback issues. Again, this is another game. I'm not 100% sure if it was played or not. Looking at the stats, nope. This, again, looks like another sim win. So either way, that was a much-needed win for the Giants, who their owner Pepper has been gone for a couple of weeks with a trip to New York. And I want him to make the playoffs because I think he earned it, and I'd hate to see that he had to miss a couple of weeks and that gets stolen from him.
I agree with you. He was, if he was able to play a full schedule, I think there was no doubt about it that he was playoff bound, and it looks like he's going to get in now. So, he had a hell of a season, and it looks like it paid off, and he's going to get a shot at the title.
Absolutely. Now this is your game. The Lions on the road to face the Vikings, and the Lions get a 7-point victory. Was this game played?
It was, yes.
Awesome. So this was a good game between two division rivals. The Lions with a really great season last year, but have fallen apart this year. The Vikings, who I think are one of those teams lying in wait, one more good offseason by you, another good draft, and your team's going to be really tough to deal with as you get some XP for your quarterback, who I assume is hurt, and so having him back next year will do the trick. But this was just an old-fashioned, NFC Central, I think it's called the North now, whatever, battle, late in the years, two teams just kind of go at it.
Yeah, the 0-0, we always, we played 4 times in this Madden now over the 2 seasons, and each one of them has been a dogfight. We split both years, and, I'm looking forward to because I know he's going to give it, he won the division. I think he won 12 games in the first year, and then somehow he won 4 games this year. So I know he's definitely ready to bounce back next year. The division should be interesting next year. I'm looking, like you said, this will be my 3rd off season with the team, or 2nd off season. I'm sorry, and hopefully I have 2 picks in each of the first 3 rounds. So I'm definitely looking to make some noise and bring in some players that can make a difference.
Yeah, it'll be a fun off season. That's the conundrum of the MFL, is these guys who make the playoffs, it really matters to them, but most of us don't make the playoffs, and so we're ready to rush through, and it's not really fair to the guys who have worked hard all season. And then the second that the champion has been announced, the rest of the league has moved on to the off season, and so it's like that catch-22 that we always find ourselves in. Next game up, sadly, is my game as the 7-8 Seahawks come over to Arizona and whip up on me pretty well. I just can't beat this team. I'm telling you, I got to be honest. I can be an emotional guy at times. That's just kind of the way I live life. I'm pretty passionate And this game sent me over the edge. It took everything in me to not go ahead and resign and end up regretting it a couple of days later. I just can't beat the Seahawks, and they are just a frustrating team to play. He blitzed me like crazy. His defense just beats up my players. Like, my offensive line isn't even standing there. I watched Marshawn Lynch break 8-9 tackles a play. They're just a frustrating team to play. It seems like he calls the perfect plays on offense and defense to get me, and I just cannot beat him for whatever reason. I just hate the Seahawks. Junior's a nice guy, but right now, Junior, I hate you because you're the Seahawks owner, and you continue to punch me in the mouth every year, and I can't do anything about it. So I lost this one and pretty much ended my playoff hopes for this year.
Yeah, but Nate, you know this better than anybody. Madden, much like real NFL football, is very. There's good matchups and there's bad matchups when it comes to teams and players. And it looked, I guess, by the sounds of it, the Seahawks just match up very well against you. But on the other hand, Welch is going to go into his second year. You're going to be ready for the Seahawks next year, and I think it's going to be tough to run on Seattle regardless with their defensive line. So, if Welch can make the quick read and do what he's supposed to do and read the blitz, I think he'll be okay going forward against them.
Yeah, he's just a tough team to match up against. I mean, he tries to make you think he's a sucky player. He's not. He actually plays really good, and he has a great team. So, next game up is going to be the 5-10-1 Bengals getting a win in a game that not many people even cared about, including the two owners who actually played it, 12-6. I don't know really what you want to say about this snore fest. Looking at the stats, looks like it was a sim game to me. I don't even know.
You think it was a sim game with 0 touchdowns and 3 picks on one side and 0 touchdowns and 2 picks on the other side?
You think? Well, the reason I say that is because he threw the ball 37 times and still rushed the ball 20 times. Yeah. I don't know. Those numbers seem pretty high. I don't know. Either way, who cares? Like, this is just one of those games that no one really even cares about.
Well, it was a pretty accurate sim, I guess, based on the 2 seasons each team has had.
I like the Bengals. I think the Bengals are a team, much like your team, that have the talent, just couldn't put it together this year. But it'll be interesting to see what happens next year.
Yeah, we have the talent, just shitty handling behind the sticks.
Yeah. Next game up is the Packers winning against the Broncos. The Packers have surged recently, I guess, ever since they got their new owner. And it took him a couple of weeks to figure the team out, but they get a big win against Wynn at home. You know what? I think I kind of called this one. For whatever reason, the Broncos just do not play well at home. They play solid defense, but they just can't put it together on the offensive side of the ball. This is just Wynn is it's like self-fulfilling prophecy with him at times. And so the Packers get a much-needed win at home against the Broncos, or on the road against the Broncos.
Yeah, Duval balled, man. He's excellent at throwing the football, at least based on my experience playing him twice this year. Based on that, seeing Eddie Lacy 21 carries for 101 yards. If Eddie Lacy goes over 100 yards with his ability to throw the ball with Aaron Rodgers, it's going to be pretty damn hard to beat the Packers at that point.
Yeah, it's I guess the part about this that is unfortunate is that game probably cost to win the playoffs, or it could. Kind of depends on how this Week 17 game comes out with the Patriots. But he knew he was not going to be there for Week 17. That game is, there's you never know what's going to happen in sim games, and that game ended up being a loss for him. And so it looks like this loss to the Packers ends up being a huge one.
Yeah, I agree, and that's a shame because Wynn had an incredible season. It would be a tragedy to not see him in the playoffs this year.
Yeah, I can't even begin to imagine going, 11-5 and not making the playoffs. But you know what? We're probably going to see that this year, and one of these teams are not going to make it, and it just kind of sucks for them because I know the kind of work that goes into one of those seasons, and that kind of stinks. So that is a look at your Week 16 games. And like I said, that pretty much there's a few games that hang in the balance for Week 17. I guess we can take a quick look at those. But there's not much, and there's not many. So I think one of the biggest games, here's the sim game that we were talking about with the Broncos. They lose 24-10. You know what? I kind of don't feel bad for the Bills. I mean, they needed a win also. They kind of want to stay in the hunt and try to keep their playoff hopes alive. But this game right here, losing last week, pushes the Broncos right out, and now they are on the outside needing help to get in.
Yeah, that's incredible. Like I said, I couldn't, like you said, actually, I couldn't imagine having the kind of season that he had in that division and winning 11 games and having to watch the playoffs. It's got to be crushing.
Yeah, that's not
But
cool.
on the bright side, he's got an incredible rookie quarterback who's probably only going to get better going forward. So the future looks bright in Denver.
And he's got a very young team, so it does look bright in Denver. As long as we can keep him from committing Madden suicide, I think we'll be okay. Your next game is the next big game here was the Buccaneers with a 2-point victory over the Panthers. They needed that win to kind of solidify everything. They want to get the best seed possible, and so that was a nice win for the Buccaneers on the road against the interdivision Panthers.
Yeah, and from what I'm understanding, that was kind of a playoff game. Winner got in the playoffs. I didn't research it myself, just based on what I saw in the Blast chat. So yeah, I mean, looks like a hell of a hard-fought game by two teams trying to fight their way in.
Yep, and then Gaddy gets a big win. We're not going in depth with these games, but Gaddy, that's a big win against the Bears, who've been playing better lately. I think that they might have possibly kind of put it on silent cruise control as the Bears try to finish off the season. But you know what? The 49ers needed the win. They get the win. They're in there. They're going to be a fun team to kind of see what happens as these playoffs progress. Yeah,
and the 49ers, they hit a little slump there about early to midway through the season, but they've been lights out lately, and it looks like they're in playoff form right now, even though Gaddy swears that his quarterback is the worst walking the face of the earth.
Yeah. Your next game up, and this is going to be one of the bigger games that D-Money either acted like he didn't know or maybe he didn't really know was really important, but the surging 7-8 Steelers are on the road to face the 11-4 Rams, and this has some seeding implications for the Rams, and this will be a fun game to kind of see how it comes out. I think that the way Mallett's been playing lately, it's going to be a tough game to go into St. Louis and win. I'm going to take the Rams all day on that one.
Yeah, I think a large part of this is going to come down to how Dre Archer can run the ball. I think if he can have a solid day and can kind of allow the Steelers to control the clock, I wouldn't count the Steelers out of this game because they've been playing so well lately. And, they played a couple top teams this year and beaten them. So I definitely wouldn't rule them out. But the Rams, yeah, they're as I said before, they're just finding a way to win, and right now they look like the top team in the NFC.
I think the Dolphins are going winless. They're facing the 11-3-1 Jets. I just don't see it happening.
You think the Dolphins are going to win?
No, I think they're going winless. They're 0-16. It's just not going to happen.
I think I'm going to tell you, I got my profit hat on right now. It's going to be a sim, and the Dolphins are going to win by 1 point to avoid going 0-16.
It very could possibly get a sim, but I will not give you and Wayne credit if he gets a sim win. It's still a winless season for him either way. Then the next big game, I think, is going to be this will be an interesting game to see. I don't know that it's going to get played. I seen that they have a post up. I didn't read it though. But the 11-4 Saints on the road to face the 6-9 Colts. The Colts can, if Luck doesn't play terrible, if he doesn't turn the ball over, the Colts can play really good football. And this would just be an interesting game to see how that turns out.
I don't see it. I'm not on the same page with you there. Luck's been the biggest turnover machine in the OMFL in the last 8 weeks of the season, and the way the Saints play defense, I don't think that's not a good combination for the Colts.
No, it's not. Here in the last game, that's going to be a huge matchup that is going to be played tonight. I hope that it's up on OMFL TV because it'd be a fun game to watch. For the 7-8 Eagles travel on the road to face the 11-4 Patriots. KD versus KO. This is a game these two guys have played a lot before. I think KD is extremely frustrated with his quarterback situation. He and I have had some trade talks going on. He is looking to make some pretty major changes this offseason to make or field a team that fits his style. This will be a fun game to watch. My head tells me that the Patriots are going to get it done and put KD back in his place and show that the AFC is the stronger division. But my heart says, sorry, KO, but I hope that you cannot pull this off because I want to see Wynn make the playoffs and have that hard work, pay off for him and see if he can't make a little run in the playoffs. And the only way that's going to happen is if the Patriots fall. So give me the Eagles in an upset.
All right, so let me get this straight. Are you starting the Welch to Philadelphia rumors right now?
No, that's not going to happen. I don't think anyone's interested in Welch. I think I'm the only guy that's interested in him. But there are some talks on the table that may have been put away for now. But I'm just telling you that I got the sense that KD is wanting to make some extremely big changes this offseason and overhaul his team.
Okay, fair enough. And I'm going to go with you on this one for the same reasons, just because I want to see him win in the playoffs and I want to see him, what he can do with Fisher and Demaryius Thomas and see if Arian Foster can go out with a bang before he's likely playing for a different team next year.
That would be the interesting thing about that team is what do they do this offseason because Adrian is not going to get any younger, and that will be the interesting thing to see because, in my opinion, running backs are not a very good position to draft for, as I'm sure that you have learned, the Browns have learned. I think both of you took some running backs pretty high in the draft. I just don't find that running backs this Madden are very powerful, very good, so you have to go out there and find one. It'd just be interesting to see what happens with that running back situation in Denver, because outside of that, they're a pretty good team.
Well, I do know this, that he is bringing somebody in. I just won't say who.
Well, there you go. That's the
Hello? I can't hear you, Nate.
I don't know why it just muted me. It decided to mute me on its own. But anyway, I was saying that that's the most frustrating part is guys are already making deals. I'm a guy that likes to wait till the offseason's over, but guys are like already making deals. It's over. Like I've already had to make one deal and I already get trade talks started because guys are making deals and they're happening. Like it is, the offseason is here.
I'm with you, man. I feel the same way. And like the thing that worries me the most about making a deal this early is somebody backing out. But Wynn is a guy that he seems pretty set in his ways. When he says something, I don't think he's going to back out from anything. So I felt kind of comfortable. Not saying that I made a deal with him. Just saying
I think you slightly let a cat out of the bag there. Just I don't even think that you caught you were doing it until it was already done. I don't know who this Big F guy is, and I don't know if you've seen me doing this before the show started, but I was copying and pasting in Google what he was typing here just to figure out what the hell he was trying to say.
I want to know?
No, it's pretty funny stuff. Like this top one says like he's a female dog in heat or something, and then this one says he wants to hump big butts or something like it was pretty funny. I'm like, I don't know who Big F is and how he found this, but that's hilarious.
That's pretty well. Hopefully he's enjoying the show. He just typed something else.
There he goes. He just typed something else. He has no clue that we have no clue what he's saying, or maybe he does. I don't know. So let's take a quick look, W, at the playoff picture. Let's look at the AFC.
That might be House.
You think that can't be House? That would be hilarious, though.
He's the only guy in OMFL history that probably could speak Arabic or.
Hey, you're just muted, you too. I don't know why it's doing that, but let's see what
Big F probably muted me.
I don't know that House has time for us anymore since he is in the ISIS and doing whatever he's doing with them now.
I think him and Stang are up to something that's not very good.
Here we go. He just said whores, son, whores. I know that's probably not translating correct, but that's pretty funny. So let's take a quick look at the AFC. So this is your AFC playoff race. I think it's pretty much done. There's a few on the bubble teams there that make things interesting, but your 1 and 2 are pretty much set. Looks like the Texans are going to hold on to that number 1 spot. The Jets at number 2, and then we get some pretty interesting matchups here. We're going to have what would be interesting to see is if the Broncos somehow can squeeze in here. They get the 6th seed, and then we get that great third matchup between the Raiders and the Broncos. Like, who does not want to watch that? That is going to be a great game to watch. But either way, the Patriots or the Broncos are going to be on the road to face the Raiders, and that's going to be a tough game to win.
Man, the AFC is potentially 2 wild card teams that have 12 wins in the AFC. That's incredible. Yeah, and like you said, whether Dunn ends up playing win or the Patriots, it's going to be a slugfest in that first wild card game of the season. And if Pittsburgh can hold on, I don't know what the rest of their division is looking like, if they've clinched or not. Probably not if they're 7-8. But they're gonna give Kansas City hell, I think.
Yeah, I think that I think the Steelers are going to give anybody hell just the way they're playing football. That will be an interesting game. The frustrating part would be to go 12-4 like Jeremy has done, and you still have to go on the road, just because we know how Madden can be at times, and you just don't know what's going to happen. And that's
a troubling matchup in my opinion, because like you said, Kansas City would have to go on the road, and they don't blow anybody out. They play a lot of close games, and Pittsburgh's been playing pretty damn well lately. That's potential for a huge upset first week of the playoffs.
Yeah, I say that if the Broncos make it, I would be really worried if I were done, because Wynn's already proven he can make you play ugly, and he can steal a game on the road. Whereas if the Patriots make it, I just don't see them beating the Raiders on the road. And if I was Jeremy, I would get my stuff together, make sure I'm ready for a good ball game, because the Steelers are going to make you earn it.
Absolutely. It's going to be fun to watch. I'm interested.
Then taking a quick look at the NFC, you got the Saints at number 1 at 11-4, and then you got the Rams so both of these guys, the Rams have to play their game. They're trying to figure out how they're going to get that. Dave really needs to play his game so he can solidify having that number 1 or number 2 seed there. Either way, I think those two guys are pretty much a lock for number 1 and 2. That may flip-flop there. I think if I were Dave, I would want the number 1 seed, because I want to make the Rams come to me if they have to. I don't want to go on the road, though. Somebody who's faced the Rams, 4 times this game, I think he is beatable at home. I think that you can beat him in St. Louis. Then your other matchups are going to be, it looks like the Buccaneers are going to travel to face the Giants, and then San Francisco is going to travel to face Green Bay. Green Bay has played much better football recently. That's going to be a great 4-5 matchup, but I think that Gaddy is just red hot right now. He's playing really good football. As long as Kaepernick doesn't have like 6 turnovers or something crazy, I think the 49ers can win that game. The matchup I'm most intrigued to watch that wild card weekend will be the Buccaneers and Giants. I think that's just going to be an old-fashioned defensive slugfest.
Oh, yeah, that is going to be – and, that game could come down to which big play wide receiver makes the more big plays when it comes down to Beckham and Heron. You got 2 of the most explosive wide receivers going to face off against each other in that game. It's going to be, in my opinion, about whoever can step up and make more big plays. And then the Packers and 49ers, it might be a blowout, might be a close game, but it's going to be a good game to watch. I'll definitely be looking for, hopefully it's streamed, which I'm sure all the playoff games will be, but I just think that's a great matchup, player-wise, and I'm going to have a good time watching that one.
Yeah, going back to the Buccaneers and Giants, the thing about the Buccaneers is with Heron, he's actually their slot receiver that they kind of move all around the field. And I knew it was coming. when we played. I was able to beat him. But when we played, I knew to watch for him. He's been having a big year. He likes to go deep to him. That guy still gets behind your defense. Like, I'm playing safety on wherever Heron, whatever side of the field he's on, I'm that safety. I'm trying to give over-the-top help. He still beat me over the top. I just think because he is their third receiver, that Beckman's going to have the better game. I really like the Giants in that matchup. And again, like you said, I think that the Packers are playing really good football. But I think Gaddy, he's put together an 11-5 season despite not being happy with his quarterback. And I think that that's a little bit of a smokescreen and a little bit of a way to keep attention off himself. I like their team. I think that that's going to be a good game to watch. So let's do this. Let's jump into a six-pack of questions. We're going to do some fake it or take it playoff style. I'm going to ask you a six-pack of questions. I just want you to fake it or take it, and then give me the reason why. We're going to do 3 in the AFC and 3 in the NFC. So, fake it or take it, the Broncos will miss the OMFL playoffs.
Just out of what I want to see personally, I'm going to fake it, and I'm going to say Denver makes the playoffs. I think New England somehow is going to lose this week to an underachieving team and blow the playoffs. And, I want to see that personally because I'm a Dolphins fan and I hate everything about the New England Patriots, OMFL, NFL, fathead, and anything New England Patriots I just can't stand. So I'm going to go Denver there. And they're going to say they're going to make the playoffs and they're going to get to see round 3 Raiders-Broncos wild card weekend.
All right, well, then that goes right to our next one. Then fake it or take it. The Raiders will beat the Broncos to win that third matchup.
Oh, I'm going Broncos 10-9.
Why do you think?
Because I think Denver just has too much firepower. I think they have the advantage at quarterback. They have. It's a pretty okay. Maybe Oakland has a slight advantage at running back with McFadden over Foster this season. But wide receiver-wise, I mean, Denver's just loaded with Fisher having all those weapons to throw to Demaryius Thomas, Wes Welker, and Julius Thomas, the tight end. I just think I think Denver's going to find a way to squeak it out. And like you said, they've proven they can make Oakland play very ugly football, and anything can happen in the playoffs.
Yeah, Carr has not played well since coming back from his injury either.
That is true. It seems like Dunn has had a couple mishaps since Carr came back, and he found a way to win with Freeman.
Yeah, fake it or take it. The Steelers will upset the Chiefs in Wild Card Weekend.
Yeah, I kind of laid the tracks for this take it right here earlier. Like I said before, I think the Chiefs, they find ways to win ugly football games. They're going to have to be on the road. They're going to have to travel to Pittsburgh, and Pittsburgh's been playing pretty good football lately, and I think that's Big Ben still has I know there's been talk of him regressing over the offseason and whatnot, but right now Big Ben's still in charge in Pittsburgh, and he's got the Steelers playing pretty darn well. And I think if Dre Archer can get going, get close to 100 yards, I think the Steelers have a damn good shot to win that game.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. That'll be a fun game to watch. I hope these guys stream these games and we're able to watch most of them. So let's go over to the NFC. Fake it or take it, the Saints are the best team in the NFC.
Fake it. I am going to go with the New York Football Giants as the best team in the NFC. Even though Pepper hasn't been around the last few weeks to play his games, based on what he's done playing his games, I think right now he's hands down the best player in the NFC.
Fake it or take it, the Giants will take care of business at home Wild Card Weekend and beat the Buccaneers.
I'm taking that in a tough game because the Bucks play pretty good defense, but I think Odell Beckham will be the difference in the game. I think Osweiler will have less turnovers than Glennon, and I think they will win a home game against the Bucks in the playoffs. A close one, though.
Fake it to take it, the Green Bay Packers are going to take care of business. They're red hot, and they're going to win at Lambeau Field Wild Card Weekend.
I will go with the Packers as well, just because I want to see my NFC Central compadre make a little run here.
What happened with the NFC Central this year?
I'm pretty bad. The Bears are pretty bad. The Lions were pretty it was
It was the division that no one, both the Packers and the Steelers really came out of nowhere. Like no one, they weren't even the teams that we thought were actually going to win those divisions by default. Like they literally came out of nowhere, began to play really good football and win it. So let's do this. It's week 17. It's the beginning of the playoffs. Give me your take-home prediction, kind of your lock for the playoffs. Give me your biggest take-home prediction. This is going to happen in the playoffs this year.
Okay, not just the wild card, but like throughout the entire playoffs?
Whole playoffs.
Okay. The Giants will win the NFC.
I like it.
That's
So
my home lock. The Giants will be in the Super Bowl.
Your Giants are going to win the NFC Championship. Against who?
Scroll down. The Giants will win the NFC Championship in St. Louis.
That would be an interesting game to see. I'm kind of pulling for my old team since I can't have them. So I'm hoping that the Saints can make something happen. I do also like the Giants. We were going to talk about the Rams, and we will as these playoffs progress. But I think that the Rams, there's just something about D-Money. Ever since he won his Batman Super Bowl a couple of years ago, he has just become the regular season champion. And he dominates in the regular season and then quietly whimpers away in the playoffs. I'm not quite sure what happens to him. Normally, I'm not in the playoffs, so I don't care and I don't watch and I don't pay attention. This year, since we actually have streaming or actually started last season, it'll be interesting to see kind of what they do that now that we get to watch them. But I'm pulling for my Saints to do something here, but I do like the Giants as that playoff pick. So give me your biggest your biggest, what's the word I'm looking for? My brain is escaping me right now. Give me your biggest, boldest prediction, like you're going to step out there and make a bold prediction for the entire playoffs.
Okay. I will say Ben Roethlisberger will have the most touchdown passes in the playoffs.
Wow. So are you saying they're going to make a run?
They're going to at least get past the first game, I think. And then, as you know, anything can happen after that.
So you gave me a Giants-Rams NFC playoff championship game. Give me my AFC championship game.
Man, the AFC is like, it's incredible. I think the winner, man, because you don't even know. You don't know if Denver's going to be in. You don't know if it's going to be New England. I based on right now, if the playoffs were to start right this second without Denver being involved, I think Oakland and the Jets would be your AFC championship game.
And who's coming out of that to face the Giants in the Super Bowl?
The Raiders.
So Raiders, Giants, who wins?
Yes, and I'm going to go with the Giants.
So you heard it here, folks. W is taking the Giants and Pepper to win it all after 1 year. I have to remind you of this. 1 year after resigning from his team and walking away, he comes back, gets his team back, and he's going to the Super Bowl. So there you heard it. That is going to happen. There's your OMFL playoff predictions from W done. And so
do not let me down, Pepper. I want to be back next year for Fake It or Take It. And you need to let my record hold up. So I'm invited back on Nate's incredible podcast.
You'll be invited back regardless. You don't have to worry about that. But it'll be interesting. We got to get Win on the show, the next show, as the playoffs actually start. I'd like to get his playoff predictions too. We got to start keeping record of this stuff to see he actually does well. So there you have it. We've taken a look at Week 16. We've taken a look at the playoffs, a quick look at Week 17 and what still holds. And let's spend 5 good minutes here. I think we're going to have, let's see, we're 55 minutes into this podcast. So let's go right up to the hour. Let's push it up to the top of the hour. Let's spend 5 good minutes about what kind of has been the talk of everything of the Christmas holiday, and that is the PlayStation and Xbox One hacking that took place, the shutdown of all the servers, which interrupted our games. It interrupted everything that we kind of do. I kind of laugh at the headlines that say it ruined Christmas for some people. It's like, get over yourself, find something else to do. But it was pretty boring if we didn't have access to it. So 5 good minutes. Let's just talk about the PlayStation hack and everything that took place. Kind of what are your thoughts on all of that?
Yeah, I think it's pretty rough for like a 6 or 7 year old kid that might have got to play PS4 or Xbox One for the first time and they weren't able to play it. But other than that, yeah, like guys like us, and it's okay. You just laugh it off. You couldn't play Madden for a couple of days.
Yeah, it was pretty boring though, because I'm stuck at home. I say stuck at home. I got a good 10, 12 days off here from work, and it was pretty boring. I couldn't quite do anything because all of the games that I play are online games, and so when the PlayStation Network was down, that means you couldn't play any of your games. So we played a lot of Wii. We were pretty Wii fanatics this past week. Played a lot of Mario Kart and Mario. I kind of even laughed. My kids were like, "Daddy, can they, hack the Wii?" I'm like, even if they could, I don't know anyone that would want to. Like,
Yeah, right. I got kind of lucky though. I had a lot of family come over for Christmas Day, and they stayed over, and then I went to the UCF game on Friday night. So I had other things to do where it wasn't like I wasn't just bored out of my entire mind. Luckily for me, so that was okay.
We had nothing to do. We live here in New Orleans, and none of our family lives here, and so we had no one here for Christmas. It was just us. And it was pretty boring, so there was not a whole lot to do. I was actually the nerd who I had nothing to do, so I'm like following all these hackers on Twitter. It's just amazing to me how you can be so bold. They told them a month ago that they were going to do this. I guess that's probably the only agitating part is you're a multi-billion-dollar company at Sony. You were told a month before this got here that this was going to happen, that they were going to do this, and yet it still took you 2 days after it stopped to get it back up and running. That doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me.
Yeah, no, it's pretty embarrassing for Sony that, first of all, like you said, they called their shot. They pretty much did what they said they were going to do, and then it took Sony so long to actually recover from it. It's actually embarrassing for a company like that.
Yeah, they say that the Xbox sales were actually less than the PlayStation sales, and then they began to catch up. And since Xbox actually got up and running quicker, they actually got a couple, extra thousands of sales out of that, and helped catch up even closer. So I don't get it.
I wonder what Big F's take on this is. I wonder if he had anything to do with the hack.
Big F may have been hacking away in between his Huns and sores and whores and sons and dogs and everything else that he's been talking about today. I don't really know what's going on with Big F here. Honestly, I have no clue how he even found us, because I thought that this was I don't know. I have no clue what he's doing, but that would be hilarious if that was House. I think that would be the funniest thing.
It's kind of creepy that some random Arabic person just listening to an English OMFL podcast,
Yeah, maybe, I don't know. Maybe House is in a cave somewhere with 4G on his phone. I don't know what he's doing. But there you go. There you have it. It's a good show. It's just me and you. I guess we tried this early afternoon thing. It didn't really work out for us too much. So maybe next time we'll go back to the night thing, because we seem to have a good turnout last time. But we got some good NFL games on.
I'm kind of depressed Stang ditched us.
Yeah, Stang and the commish was around. I was hoping that he was going to hop on, and the Bears were asking what the phone number was. But talking to the Bears is literally like talking to the Verizon customer service. It's like you get a response once every 10 minutes, and it's extreme. Him and Kevin are the most extremely unpleasant people to try to have a conversation with, because
in the Bears, I know, because obviously the Bears I'm related to him, and he basically the way he operates on AIM, he works a lot because he owns a sports bar, so he pretty much carries his iPad around, and he checks it when he can. He'll get involved in something while he's at work, and he'll get on there sporadically. He'll check it every few minutes. So yeah, it's pretty it's pretty aggravating though when you're trying to have a fluent conversation with them.
Yeah, both of those guys, 2-minute conversation turns into a 3-day conversation just because they they take so long to answer. So thanks for hopping on. Thanks for spending some time with us today and being my co-host since Win couldn't be here. But even when Win is here, I like you a whole lot better. So I'd much rather have you on the show.
Well, Win sounds a lot sexier than me, so he's definitely good for the show. Maybe we'll get some listeners if Win's on the show next time because he does have such a sexy voice.
Well, you see, that doesn't work for me just because I've seen the guy. He's my family. You know, you're related to the Bears. You know, Win and I are related. We're first cousins. And
I did not know that. I learned something.
Really? Absolutely. Yeah, we are actually his mom is actually like my nanny, and we're very close. I don't get to see Win very often because he lives in Mississippi, but he and his family and I are very close, and he and I grew up together and grew up playing video games and sports together, and so yeah, we actually grew up very close. And since I know what he looks like, his voice doesn't really do much for me.
Well, he could be a radio actor.
He actually could easily be a radio personality. He's pretty good at that. So there we go. There we have it. We have an hour show. It's in the books. It's done. It's over. I think we got a good look at the playoffs. And I think we'll do this again probably right around New Year's Day or so. And by then we'll be in the playoffs. We can take a look at how things are coming out and see if your predictions are working.
Man, just let me know. I don't start school up again until like the 5th or something like that, so I got plenty of time on my hands this next week.
Awesome. Well, thanks for being on the show. Thank you guys for listening. We'll see you next week.